It's shocking to see just how far smartphones have evolved in 10 years of Galaxy. What was once regarded as a copy of others has spent the last 5 generations setting its own bar. From one of the first with water resistance, to one of the first with a fingerprint scanner, to the dominant innovator of smartphone displays and cameras, to the first with a curved screen, to the trendsetter in the return of glass on glass and the death of the bezel. There is no denying that it's a great legacy. But the question is, legacy afar, should this be the phone you buy today? I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocket Now, and this is our Galaxy S10 Plus review, brought to you by Dbrand. Love it or hate it, it's hard to ignore the reason why Samsung is at the top of the Android food chain. The company has never really used the non-compromise slogan, but for me, this is the best way to describe the Galaxy S10 Plus. So let's begin this video by telling you what I like about this phone. The first, this phone has everything. At a time when phones are losing ports and bring excessive notches, Samsung didn't follow the trends. We have a headphone jack that's well tuned by AKG, with a good pair of AKG headphones in the box. The Infinity O is not a perfect solution for the notch, but it's far smaller than most notches, and at least you can dress it in style with some of the recent wallpapers you can find on Reddit. I honestly can't believe this has become a thing. Second, it's one of the most powerful phones right now. We have the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 with enough RAM, expandable storage, a large battery, and faster LTE and Wi-Fi than most, in addition to Qi wireless charging, and then there are cool tricks like reverse wireless charging, and all regardless of the variant that you pick. Third, this phone is the best in things that truly matter. The 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED display at Quad HD Plus resolution has been rated as best in class, and we agree. It's also one of the brightest that I've seen on a smartphone at 1200 nits, and then match it with some of the loudest dual-firing speakers that I've tested on a phone, and yeah, it's a whole content consumption package here.
The Infinity O display is an answer to all of the notches that we...
Fourth, this phone is gorgeous and feels great. This prism white finish has quickly grown on me when viewed from different angles, and then Samsung has also shaved some of the footprint and weight from its predecessor, so even if large, the feel is rather surreal. Fifth, let's talk about the cameras. I have a full separate video on how this camera performed in Montserrat, so I'm not gonna bore you with specifics. What I will tell you is that even if Samsung is not the first at bringing a wide-angle camera, it's the first at doing more with it than just giving you wide-angle shots. It enables genius features like super steady video thanks to the wide sensor, and which I highly recommend you use if you've got the right lighting for the occasion. It enables better portrait photos where you won't have to step back from the subject to get a good shot, and where you can switch the bokeh after the fact and not get a completely different photo like before. Best of all, you can play with the effects and make colors pop if you fancy a more dramatic effect. And yes, you do have a wider field of view for more epic photos. Matched also with the versatility of the primary shooter that has 2 aperture options, and the telephoto that helps you get a really good crop for street photography. That variable aperture proves to be essential in low light, with the night mode included in scene detection. I still feel that Samsung needs to work on moving subjects in low light, but I can't deny that this phone is really good at pulling detail in low light. The selfie camera also found some major improvements, now providing more detail and capabilities for 4K video recording and also a wider crop. I called this camera versatile in my previous video, and after a final software update, now with the inclusion of Instagram mode, I stand by that assessment more now than before. Obviously, this is a review, not a love letter, so let me tell you where I'm mixed and where I don't like this phone. It begins with One UI. On a positive front, you'd say that OEMs shouldn't try to reinvent Android, but there are certain things where One UI is just more logical. See, large phones are hard to handle, and Samsung has moved a ton of the buttons and interaction to the bottom of the display. The problem is really not Samsung's fault, but obviously the rest of Android, which thinks that buttons should be at the top, so the result is hit or miss. And then what is Samsung's fault is a power button so high up that the effort in the software just seems like an irony. I like that the edge menus are still here for shortcuts, and I also love that gestures are now embraced. Sadly, there is sort of a cumbersome interaction between Samsung Pay and these gestures in the Google Assistant, so my advice to you is to disable my favorite card settings within Samsung Pay. And then there's the total lack of palm rejection, which also makes handling such a large and slippery phone a problem. I highly recommend the Dbrand skin to address that and add some grip. Now, features I never thought that I'd miss are the iris scanner or the standard fingerprint scanner. Sadly, facial recognition is not at all secure, and while I do find the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner to be cool, it's not always reliable. Samsung claims a software update will fix this, but we don't know exactly when. And then, let's talk about battery life. I mean, some of my colleagues are claiming stellar results, but mine is just okay. You'll end the day okay, but you won't get an extra day like you can with certain other competitors. Last but not least, oh, Bixby. I feel the service doesn't deserve all the hate that it gets, and a lot of automation and quick commands is genius. The problem is when it lags so behind the Google Assistant and absolutely everything else, and how even if you remap the key, you can't fully disable it. And folks, before we conclude this video, let me tell you more about our sponsor, Dbrand. If you want to avoid those fingerprint smudges and pimp out your new Galaxy S10, Dbrand's new Black Swarm skin is fantastic. And of course, that's just one of the many options they have available to cater to your taste. Follow the link in the description below to choose the skins that match your style most. To conclude, even if this device is not perfect, notice that all the things that I'm either mixed or don't like about it are all software-based. And sure, I agree, some of these things are probably nitpicks. In absolutely everything that matters, the Galaxy S10 Plus excels. You've got the best display of 2019, some of the best specifications, a versatile camera, and a design that turns heads no matter where you go. Match this with the fact that Samsung has decided to not follow Apple in the price, and the offer is even more compelling. This is definitely a more mature Samsung, one where ecosystems are now being nurtured with products like the Samsung Galaxy Buds and SmartThings. In my opinion, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus is a great phone, and one that I definitely have no problem in recommending. Obviously, your opinion is important. Let us know what you think about this device in the comments down below, and while you're at it, make sure you follow us on social media and subscribe to both our channels, English and Spanish, for more videos like this one. You can follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera, on Instagram at Jaime Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.